Edelweiss and CNBC TV 18 present Change India, What India Needs.
Welcome to Change India, What India Needs. Very simple. India needs infrastructure, infrastructure, infrastructure. And our panel here today reflects just that. We've got Mr. Venugopal Dhoot, the Chairman and Managing Director of Videocon Industries, into infrastructure in a big way. We've got KK Mistry, Vice Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of HDFC Limited, building houses for India. We've got Rashesh Shah, Chairman and CEO of the Edelweiss Group, a man who's helping all these companies find and access capital. And shortly joining us would be Niranjan Hiranandani, co-founder and MD of the Hiranandani Group. But before we get to them, let's hear a sprinkling of corporate voices on what India needs.
Look at facilitating growth in terms which takes time. For example, if we have to set up national manufacturing zones across the country, completing some of the long freight corridors. So get the execution right, get the efficiency, the governance right, and set policies which facilitate long-term value creation.
We have had cases where taxes have been collected with a retrospective effect, and there is innumerous litigation that's going on, and there is no timely resolution of problems. So we really want government to really streamline the administration of tax and regulatory measures so that we all know what we are in it.
If you look at the government, currently I think the important challenge before them is that of job growth. For job growth, we believe the MSME sector is one sector which can actually give a lot of job growth, and therefore we do expect some steps in the MSME sector to ensure that this sector does better.
I would expect, for example, income tax slabs to be raised. I would expect selective reduction in excise duties to create better demand, and I would like certain incentives given in certain sectors, for example in housing, through a growth-oriented budget.
Growth, and that's the underlying theme that we get when we speak to anybody about what they want from Mr. Modi when he presents, or when the finance minister presents the budget in just a few days. KK, if I can come to you.
Sure.
Growth, and one way of getting growth back is, they say, at least get a whole host of projects that are stuck to come on stream. How do they do that?
I think apart from getting just projects off stream, I think equally important is to pay a lot of focus on infrastructure.
Okay.
Because there are structural issues around inflation, and those structural issues are all supply related. And the only way you can tackle supply related issues is to spend huge amounts of money in creation of infrastructure, which will give long-term benefits. So that is one thing I would rate as priority. Second thing I would rate as priority is creating more towns and cities. Today, if you look at the top 100 towns and cities in India, they are built on 0.24% of the land. So only 0.24% of the land houses 100 cities, but they account for as much as 43% of the GDP. So if you can create another 100 towns and cities, spend money, create the infrastructure, create those towns and cities, you could probably see a quantum leap in GDP numbers.
Okay, so infrastructure, very critical, because if you don't have infrastructure in place, anytime we try to go over 8%, we'll be hit by structural inflation. Comes back,
absolutely,
right?
Absolutely.
So, infrastructure needs money. How do you get investments into infrastructure? We got PPPs which really haven't taken off. We've got tax issues which we've heard our corporate before, they're talking about tax issues that have been retrospective, taxes which are not friendly towards investment coming in. What would you do to get money back into infrastructure?
I think quite a few things. I mean, we need to remember that infrastructure is investment for the long term. First, I think it requires stable government policy around that, because if you change the government policies, whether about power, gas, coal, no matter what you do, whether a public-private partnership, whatever else, investment will not happen, because people are taking investment calls on 30-year kind of horizon. So we need stable government policy around infrastructure, and if the government can articulate that and communicate that, that will be very important. We believe that infrastructure investment only by the private sector will not be enough, because
they don't have the money.
Yeah, and anywhere in the world, the private sector may not have the investment horizon or a 30-year kind of outlook. So government has to be part of that. And third, I think we need funding on a long-term basis for this, because I think we have all seen examples of a 30-year project getting 7-year funding from a bank, which is But you can't blame the banks because they don't have the asset, anything more than 7 years in their horizon. So we need to create a long-term bond market. We need to encourage insurance companies, pension funds which have the long-term money to be able to invest in infrastructure, maybe create incentives around that. But if you can get these three things in place, I think it will be a good start.
Okay. Mr. Dutt, you have, you are into infrastructure. What has been holding you back?
You see, infrastructure projects has been very good. Say 5 years back when interest rate was around 10-11%.
Okay.
Today for a power project, if you say that interest rate is 13%, Mr. Shah also will agree. At this rate, the payback period goes up, say 15 years. And 15 years money is not available. Bank maximum gives 7 years, sometimes they can extend up to 10 years.
Okay. But
so to invest that much, you require a PPP. If PPP is there, then at least governments are partner, banks can take a special role on that and special incentives for such project. At least, I don't say till the time the inflation comes down, interest rate can come down, but for this infrastructure project, maybe government subsidize or maybe banks by regulation, they can reduce the interest rate.
Or can it be written into PPP agreements that increments because of or whatever reason?
Yeah. PPP agreement, it can be reduced, but you see about India, people say that contract has got no value in India. Nowadays it's going on. Contract value has no value. So first you have to convince the investor that the government contract has got the value.
Okay, you raise the issue of, and Prime Minister has spoken about it as well, 100 new cities to come up, and it's essential for us to get that going for a variety of reasons, improving the quality of life for people, for things.
Lowering prices also.
How do you do that?
Well, you have to first build. If you have to first identify locations where you believe these cities can be built, and then you have to start creating one, infrastructure around these cities, and two, provide incentives for industry to start, moving to those cities. The incentive could be in the form of depreciation, accelerated depreciation. There are a whole variety of ways of doing that.
Would you be disappointed if he did not talk specifically about this in this budget? Do you expect?
I would expect.
Because what's happening today is there is hope, there is optimism, but the euphoria hasn't kicked off because everybody is waiting to see what will be in that speech.
But Senthil, having said that, we must recognize that the government has been in place for a month and a half. So, they've not had that much time to work on these things. But my expectation would be that in the budget they will make some announcement around creating more urban infrastructure, creating more of these towns and cities. I don't know if the process of doing it will be so elaborately specified in the budget.
But Mr. what would you want from this budget? Because again, everybody is now saying, great, fiscal consolidation is a given. We have to have that. And the last government started it. It's going on track, this government. But we are waiting for the big announcements. And if those big announcements don't come, would you be disappointed?
Yeah, I think it's a great opportunity because I think everybody's, all eyes are on the government. So there are things which may be related to broader policy, broader government approach to business investing. And I think a couple of things government can indicate. The first would be that we would try and make India an easier place to do business in, because I think whether you are an Indian, or you are a foreigner, India is not an easy place to do business in, and ultimately it adds to cost. I think also articulated very clearly that this is about creating jobs, because I don't think you want to become investment friendly, business friendly, so that business people can create wealth, but so that they can create jobs. And I think creating jobs has to be the end game in all this. Okay. Second is about, I think, just a sheer efficiency, because I think over the years a lot of things that the government is involved in is just sheer inefficiency. And I'm hoping to see that they will, whether it's on the program of spending, all the social schemes, whether it's NREGA, you can continue to spend on NREGA, but you can create assets out of that spending also. So I think a lot of focus on effectiveness, efficiency, and just a very progressive kind of an air around what the government wants to do.
We'll take a break at this point in time. When we come back, we'll also be getting voices from the ground. We'll be getting voices from the Aam Aadmi, and to find out what they want and what they expect from the budget. Stay right there.
Edelweiss and CNBC TV 18 present Change India, what India needs.
Welcome back to Change India. And infrastructure, as we've identified and has been identified ad nauseum, is one of the biggest challenges that face India, the lack of infrastructure, and how do we build up infrastructure is the crucial question. So joining us also now is Niranjan Hiranandani, co-founder and MD of the Hiranandani Group, again a man heavily invested in infrastructure. But before we get to our panelists, let's hear what the common man has to say.
For a salaried employee like me, owning a house in Mumbai is like a far-fetched dream. I think the government should increase the tax exemption limit on housing loans.
A fair budget, okay, especially for the middle class people who are working out here. I think we need to get the better tax rebate as to what we have.
Definitely we need to have good security, and for that if government is ready to spend more, it is welcome.
बजट जो आएगा ना उसमें कांदा, सब्जी, भाजी ये सब का रेट कम होना चाहिए और मोदी इफेक्ट उसमें तुरंत दिखना ही चाहिए. अगर नहीं दिखेगा तो फिर पब्लिक फिर भड़क जाएगी.
There you got it. What really hurts the common man? Inflation, prices. They want relief in that. They want relief in taxes. They want more safety in Indian cities and towns and all across the country. So do you think do you think he'll be able to reduce tax rates?
I think he will be able to, and he will reduce taxes. How much we'll have to see. But one thing is there, just to have an optical value for that, government also might consider to increase the taxes above those who are having income above 1 crore rupees, just little bit. That won't be add more to government kitty, but it will be necessary and expedient to balance both ways.
Okay. KK, you're shaking your head.
I don't. I personally would not agree with that. I think we have 40,000 odd taxpayers who declare income of more than 1 crore, which I think is complete nonsense.
So you need to widen the base.
We have to widen the base, and the only way you can widen the base is to aggressively go after people who have got unaccounted money.
Okay.
And once you go after them, and if a strong government was to sort of tell them that we give you a one-time amnesty scheme, and you declare all your income, pay your taxes. There are two ways to do it. One way to do it is you collect the money, you tell them that 34% is a normal tax rate. We will tax you at say 3% higher or 4% higher. And that money is of course the government's. In addition, the amount that is due back to the individual could be kept by the government for developmental activities for 5 years. So you could, or 5 or 7 years.
Okay.
And you could issue a bond which is interest bearing, and at the end of 5 or 7 years that money could be paid back to that individual. So you will collect a huge amount of money.
Okay.
So I would say as an incentive you need to lower the tax rate, not increase the tax rate.
So lower the tax
That's my
rate
view.
and get an amnesty scheme and collect it. Niranjan, before we get all of that, before you came in, we were talking about how difficult it is to do business in India. What's plaguing the infrastructure sector? Largely policies that are not clear, the lack of land or non-availability of land for industries like yours. What are your solutions? I'm not going to ask you for what's plaguing and bugging your industry, but what are the solutions? What would you like to see from Mr. Modi?
I think the single-mindedness to achieve an objective. If you want to make a building, there's an objective, you can achieve it. If you want to make 1 million houses and 25 million, what he's talking about from the year 2022, it's an achievable target. It's happened all over the world and we can do it. We have all the inputs, we have the financial inputs, we have the debt inputs, we have the entrepreneur, we have FDI, REITs is coming on the line. So finance is not really the major issue. There are two major issues besides what you have already considered. One is land. Land has become prohibitively expensive, and after the LAQ situation which has changed is going to become even more prohibitive. So you'll have to increase the FAR in order to do it, but married with infrastructure. If you marry higher FSI with good infrastructure, you can construct as much as you want. Second,
go vertical.
Go vertical. You have to expedite permission and you have to reduce the number of permissions. In all the sectors of industry, you have de-licensed after 1991. In real estate, you have licensed to the extent of corruption. So you need to de-license again in order to reduce the corruption level and speed up the permission process. If you do a combination of giving easy permissions, increasing the FAR, improving infrastructure, the target of Mr. Modi is achievable, but with one rider, if I may. The poorest of poor still cannot be housed. So we need to get a cross subsidy to that element. So what is the percentage of houses that we need to give to this sector? how do we marry it with what the state agencies are doing and what private people are doing, is a thing which we need to do quickly.
All right. Rashid, infrastructure also needs land. It needs, government is sitting on lots of land. It also needs a lot of what is known as national assets. How do you price it? Because that's been one of in a sense, what's stalled the earlier government was really the pricing of national assets, which had to be given to private hands for development, whether it is coal, whether it is spectrum, whether it is perhaps land, whether it's gas.
The fact of the matter always is that large parts of infrastructure needs assets which are with the government. In the olden days, the government would set up government-owned, institutions, to exploit them.
Yes.
But we have now, gone very far that we know that the private sector can effectively exploit those assets and do it more efficiently. So how do we? And I don't call it the public-private partnership. I'm taking there is a effective way where we need to make government assets available for the private users who can use those assets to create infrastructure, spectrum, coal, land, all of that.
How do you price it right?
And here we
can't be too expensive because then it makes everything else unviable. Nor can you sell it too cheap. So what's the?
I think a very effective, I wouldn't call it auction mechanism, but a very transparent process by which anybody who wants it and can exploit it can really bid for it. Strong commitments around using it for the purpose for which you have actually bought it. So because we have all seen, you acquire the asset and you just squat on it for years. So I think that also needs enforcement so that you can enforce it very effectively. I think third, as I said, very transparent policy around end use and opening it up, because I don't think the resources are scarce in India. We have enough spectrum, we have enough mines, we have enough land, we have all of that. So remove the scarcity element, and once scarcity element goes away, I think people then will use it for the end use for which is required, rather than get into this hoarding, squatting mentality.
Okay, let me running almost out of time, so let me quickly get a last word there for all of you. What is the one big reform statement that you want from the finance minister when he announces the budget, and what will disappoint you if it's not there, Mr. Dost?
Yeah, you see, first of all, everybody would like to have reforms should be embedded in the budget, and these reforms has to be given with what growth government will have and what fiscal deficit government will put.
So fiscal deficit for you is very critical.
Future how they will reduce it, because there is the FRBM Act, and there the fiscal deficit government has promised to bring it back to the 2%.
So for you, fiscal deficit is very important, because that has a direct impact on interest rates.
They should give a line in which, the direction in which that it should be, they will obey Fiscal Responsibility Act, which was passed in 2001, and nothing has been done. If they do that and give a direction, that will be the easiest thing government can do.
Get inflation under control, get the fiscal deficit under control, will lead to lower interest rates. You're not allowed to say that. What else would you want?
I would say all that is given. I think we need all that. Having said that, focus, we talked earlier, focus on infrastructure, focus on creation of new jobs. See, India is a domestic economy. So because we are a domestic economy, if we can start the investment cycle going, then automatically that will create jobs. Jobs will create income. Income will lead to consumption. Consumption will mean more manufacturers will produce more, which means more jobs get created. Okay. And then the economy can keep growing on itself.
So you want measures on all of this?
I think as far as the investment cycle is concerned, you just need a more friendly environment, easier approvals, tax rates which are clear, tax laws which are clear. Okay. That is all that you need.
Okay. Niranjan, what's the one big statement that you would be looking out for from this budget?
Look at any country, new country, which actually created the growth. There are only two segments which really they used. China, manufacturing, and housing. Look at Singapore, the base was housing. You look at every segment of development economies, which you see, if you want to create that paradigm of GDP growth and the multiplier effect in terms of employment. You see, we are not focused enough on employment. A lot of surplus people, you are doing social security of Narega. I'm not against Narega. But those people
create assets with it.
Create assets, and if you can get this employment done by housing and infrastructure, if you do it, we don't get labor today because people are in Narega. So the policies have been skewed in such a way that today on one side we are mechanizing all our industry in order to see that we don't use labor.
So your big thing is get
manufacturing, housing and labor skilling in order to see that the whole change takes place.
The last word.
Actually, I've always hoped for quite some time that, we talk about inflation and fiscal deficit and current account deficit and all, but we never quantify what is how many jobs we want to create. So I would hope that for the first time, maybe in the budget, they announce something like, say, in the next 5 years, we want to create
this many jobs.
We want to create 100 million jobs.
All right.
And then actually break it up, like the way you actually break up your income and expenditure, that if you open up, say, for example, housing will create 20 million jobs, insurance will create 3 million jobs, banking will create 5 million jobs, and create a job-oriented budget.
Okay, so that's what India wants. India wants manufacturing back, it wants jobs, it wants lower inflation, it wants lower interest rates, it just wants growth back. 10, 12, 15%. That's maybe what we're aiming for. Thanks so much for watching. We'll know what Mr. Jaitley and Mr. Modi have to tell us in just a few days, and we'll be back with more on Change India.
Edelweiss and CNBC TV 18 present Change India, what India needs.